Now let's talk about the battery. And this is kind of interesting because what happened is that the Ford Shelby GT350 uses a lightweight battery. Now the history of how that battery made it in here, we're not really sure, but there are rumors that that battery size, not only was it chosen because it's lighter, because it's smaller, but perhaps maybe it was chosen because of its price point. If you look at the price of the battery from the GT350 and the price of a Mustang Shelby GT, which is a full size, the price is about the same at the store. But the price internally at the Ford factory from the Ford suppliers may be different. Maybe the price for the smaller battery is substantially less. And it is believed or rumored that maybe that was one way to get the car to keep the cost, the total cost down of this car when it came out, so they could be as competitive as they could with the car. You save money by putting it in a smaller battery, and you could advertise it as it has a lightweight battery. Now, the battery on the Shelby GT350 has a full 390 cranking amps. Oh my God, 390. That is not a lot, especially for a big V8 engine. Now you do have some advantages because the battery is smaller and it's lighter. You're saving about 5 pounds of weight over the full size battery that comes in the Mustang GT. The Mustang GT, that battery is rated at 590 cold cranking amps. So that's a huge difference, 590 versus 390. You're talking about 200 amp difference. Now, if you come to the point where your Shelby needs a new battery, it's possible that the battery may still be under warranty. Remember, these batteries came with a warranty, which is around 3 years or 36 months. But here's the kicker. I inquired about that at the dealer, and I'm not a fan of going to the dealership. I don't like to leave my car in hands of people that I don't know. And I said, hey, you know what, my battery went out, I know it's no good, I can bring it in for you to confirm that it's no good. Will you honor the warranty? Because that is the battery that came with the car. And the dealer says, no, you have to bring the whole car and we have to check with the battery in the car that the battery is no good. And I'm thinking a couple of things. I'm thinking, first of all, if the car won't turn on because I have a dead battery, in order for me to bring the whole car there, I will have to tow it or jump it and drive with a very drained battery. And if you ever drive with a very drained battery, that puts extra toll or extra work on the alternator. So it is not ideal for you to do so. So I said, well, that doesn't sound like I would want to do that. And you really need to see the car. I mean, you're not swapping out the car, you're swapping out the battery. But you know, they have their reasons. I imagine they could say things like, well, we want to make sure that the whole charging system is good. I don't know, but I wasn't going to leave my car and waste several hours, if not a day or two, at the dealer so I could get a free battery, which has these batteries are fairly inexpensive. They're about $120, $130 a pop. So that's not a lot of money for me to put my car in somebody else's hands. I said, no, that's fine, don't worry, you can keep your warranty. I'll buy the battery straight out myself. So let's talk about the options of changing the battery out. You have option A, which is to stick with the original battery. If the car came with a small battery, you're gonna put the same battery in there, and that is BXT99RT. Now the battery is black in color, and I'll put the part numbers in the description down below if you guys want to look at those. Now some of these batteries will have an A next to it. That is a difference. If it's a BXT99RT4A, then it has a little bit more of a kick. The original one without the A has 390 cranking amps. The one with the A at the end has 470 cranking amps. So that's 80 more cranking amps than what you had. The battery size is still small, so you still get the weight savings. You get 80 additional cranking amps, so you could potentially feel a little better. That's one option, and like I said, the cost is about $120, $130. Option B is replacing it with the larger battery that comes in the standard Mustang GT. And that battery, the part number for that one is BXT96R 590 cranking amps, and that battery has a weight of about 32 pounds. The battery that came in the Shelby weighs about 27 pounds. So you can see that's where we get the 5 pound difference. 32 pounds for the full size in the GT and 27 pounds for the GT350. People have confirmed that it fits perfectly. There is no issue mounting it into the car. Fairly inexpensive too, only about $120, $130. Option 3 is for the hardcore, the people who have the deep pockets, and for you, performance and money, those are two things that you have a lot of money and you want a lot of performance. Or maybe you don't have a lot of money, but you're willing to spend the money on performance. And that is to go with a lithium battery. Lithium batteries are the newest thing that's out right now. You can get a very small, very packed, very dense battery. And that's gonna weigh about 6 pounds. Imagine 6 pounds down from, first we said we got the GT at 32, 27, lithium 6 pounds. That is an extreme amount of weight savings on there. Now there is a cost associated with it. Some of these batteries start around $400. So that is almost three or maybe roughly 4 times the price of a normal battery. And also you gotta think in mind this, if you don't drive your car very often, like I don't drive very often, I keep it on a battery minder or battery maintainer. If that is what you do and you're gonna buy a lithium battery, you're also gonna have to buy a maintainer that is meant for lithium batteries. So add another $90 in cost. So the total cost of ownership to go to a lithium battery will be about $400 for the battery, about $100 for the charger, that's about $500, and maybe a couple of, maybe 20 or 30 bucks on fabricating some holder or a way to bolt it down into the existing location, because some of these lithium batteries, they're almost universal. You're gonna be able to put them into the pocket or to the tray where the battery goes, but you're gonna have to figure out a way to bolt it down. And they do sell little kits, but again, you gotta add that cost into the total cost of ownership. I'll put a link in the description down below to one of the lithium batteries that I was considering, and I started a conversation with this lithium battery company, and you guys might know who I'm talking about as soon as I say the part numbers, but I was looking at the ATX20 HD. I know some owners have put the ATX20 HD and have been able to have good results with it. Now the battery charges fine from the or alternator, even though it's a lithium battery, not a problem. But when I contacted the vendor and inquired about the battery, they say, hey, ATX20 is only for drag strip use, only for drag strip. It's not for day-to-day driving. They say, well, you want the next one up. You want ATX, I believe it's 350, which is the next level up, 350 or 390. And I looked at the cost, and the 250, ATX 250, is about $400. The next one up, which is the 350 or 390, is about $600. So now your total cost of ownership, if you go with the recommended one, went up a lot. $600 for the battery, $100 for the maintainer, that's $700, and throw another 50 bucks to somehow jerry-rig it to make it fit into the car. You are talking a lot of dollars. Again, if that is what you're looking for, not a problem. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description down below. And if you guys have a lithium battery and you're loving it, or if you're regretting it, let us know in the comments down below. I'm curious to know what your recommendation or what your experience is. Now, what about myself? What did I decide to do? Now, I'm not gonna put the original one as in 390 cold cranking amps. I believe Ford noticed that it was a little too low. Because people who had the original 390 cranking amp battery that had that battery fail on them went back to the dealer and they actually got a replacement of the 390 cold cranking amps, but the version that has 470, which is the BXT 99 RT4A. The A has a little extra 80 amps. So they got the extended amperage. So that tells me that Ford realized this needs a little bit more amps. Now, what's interesting too is if you look at the owner supplement that came with this car, in the owner supplement, it calls out, and this is in the 2015 to 2016 Shelby GT350 owner supplement. For cars that are gonna be used in cold weather or the northern part of the United States, they recommend on that supplement that you go with the BXT 96R 590, which is the full size for the GT. So if from the factory, they're saying if this car is gonna be operating in cold weather, don't get the lightweight battery, get the full size. So I thought that was quite interesting, but that was only in the 2015 and 2016 supplement. My car, which happens to be a 2017 and up, I seen the supplements, they don't call out for that battery no more for cold weather. So it's kind of strange. Like at first they say, yeah, you do need it, now you don't. If you live in the cold weather and if you're living somewhere like New York, I will probably strongly consider the larger battery size. Here in California, it doesn't get that cold. I think I can definitely get away with the smaller size. I'm happy I'm gonna have the extra 80 amps. I think that should be more than enough. Now let's also talk about why the battery failed. Like I said, the car is a 2017. Well, it is getting through that 3-year mark, and the battery is only rated for 3 years. Now, so batteries can exceed or last a little bit longer past the rated lifetime by properly maintaining them with a battery minder. I'll put a link in the description to the battery minder that I use on all my cars. I had great results with it, and I made a video reviewing it if you guys want to check it out. And I ran that battery minder on this car ever since I owned it. But like most of you know, when we bought our Shelbys, we bought them on the from a dealer who had them in a showroom, and we don't exactly know how they maintain the battery while it sat there. We have heard stories of owners who have bought their Shelbys brand new from the factory, and they came with the larger battery, which probably tells us two things. I don't think it came with the 96R from the factory. I think it tells us that it sat at the dealer for a period of time where they did not charge the battery. The battery got too low of a state where it wouldn't charge up again, and they said, put the big one on there so we don't have an issue firing this up every time we have to show it to a customer. Especially because remember, back when these cars were in the showroom, people were trying to buy these cars way over what the asking price was. So dealers were willing to sit on these cars for a long time. So I could see them dropping in a larger battery for the same price. I also heard stories of owners getting their Shelby from dealer brand new with a battery that's not Ford, with a battery from a different brand. So again, that tells me that somebody swapped out the battery. If your original battery was not the 390, let me know in the comments down below. I'm curious to know how many of you got a battery that was not the original one, and whether you liked it or not. So anyways, I'll put a link in the description down below to all those parts and that I said for the battery. Now we'll show you now where the battery is located and how to replace it.